Now, we will have a virtual journey of another important Buddhist site, Alluru. The Buddhist monastic site named Alluru is situated in the Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh near the Vijayawada Hyderabad railway line. The excavation of 1926 revealed a brick built stupa here, most of which no longer survives. Apart from a pillar made of limestone which has a lotus medallion carved in a relief over it, not many remains are preserved now. This pillar may have belonged to a mandap or a hall at some time. Based on paleographical analysis of the inscription found on this pillar, it is considered that the Buddhist establishment at Alluru belonged to the 2nd century CE at least. The stupa here was of wheel shaped, having spokes which formed 16 compartments. These were filled in with brickbats and earth. The diameter of the stupa was around 76 feet and 8 inches. Following the usual plan, there were ayaka platforms with the pillars in 4 cardinal directions. Overlapping of an older pradakshina path with a newer one could be evidenced, the newer one being paved with the slabs and having entrances opposite to ayaka platforms. 4 limestone standing images of the Buddha were found at the site. Compared in terms of artistic style of execution, they appear contemporary to the Amravati images of the 3rd 4th centuries CE. Few casing slabs with a decoration and a stucco head were the antiquities found. Based on the inscriptional evidence, it can be said that the gifts of land and money were made to the sect called Purva Shailas, though which we may infer that monastic establishment at Alluru was a center for this particular sect. This monument is protected by Archaeological Survey of India. How to reach Alluru? It is located at a distance of 12 km from Kanchikacharla city, from where taxi or local transport is available and can be taken to reach the village. Vijayawada is the nearest airport, located 54 km from Kanchikacharla. Let us have a virtual journey of another Buddhist site of the region, Bhattiprolu. Located in Baptala district of Andhra Pradesh, is situated near the right bank of the river Krishna. At present, only the partial remains of the stupa can be seen, but the importance of the site lies in the fact that sacred relics of the great master Buddha himself were recovered from this stupa. A partial excavation was led by Alexander Ree here in 1892, through which we got to know some important information. The diameter of the dome of the stupa was 138 feet, whereas including the pradakshina path around the dome, the diameter went up to 148 feet. There were ayaka platforms in 4 cardinal directions with pillars on them. This just gives us an idea of the grandness of the stupa at Bhattiprolu, one of the reasons also being that it enshrined the relics of none other than the Buddha himself. It was obvious that it had to be this grand and imposing. The pradakshina path below the Medhi measured 8 feet 4 inches. The railing may have once surrounded the stupa, of which only 6 in situ remains are found. Slabs were used to decorate the drum portion. Fragments of a stone chhatra were recovered, which may have been the crowning the chhatra over the stupa. The chhatra, or an umbrella, was embellished with ribs on the inner side. Alexander Ree discovered 3 stone caskets from the center hole, and they were inscribed. The first casket had pearls, gold pieces, beads, inscribed beads and a bone fragment belonging to the Buddha. This was confirmed due to the presence of an inscription on the casket. Paleographically, various scholars ascribe the date of the 2nd century before the Common Era up to the 1st century before the Common Era to these inscriptions. Bhattiprolu is protected by the Archaeological Survey of India. How to reach this site? It is located at distance of 42 kilometers from the district headquarters Baptala. It can be approached via trains from Guntur, which is a 1.5 hour journey. Buses and taxis can be availed from Guntur or Baptala to approach Bhattiprolu. Now we will see another important and interesting Buddhist site of the region. Ghantasala, situated in the Divi Taluka of Krishna district in Andhra Pradesh. It was once a very important Buddhist monastic center. In the writings of Ptolemy, a famous Greek writer, this place is mentioned as a Kontokosalya, which was a center related to sea trade. To add to this statement, many coins of Romans and the Satavahanas were found. These coins depict a ship on them sometimes, which helps us to infer about the prosperity of trade at that time. A wife of mariner or Mahanavik donated Ayaka pillar here as per the inscription dated to the 2nd century of Common Era, which again adds to our understanding of the prosperity brought to this site due to trading. The residents of this center were in contact with one important centers like Amravati and Nagarjunkonda. Bodhisri, who donated at Nagarjunkonda, also donated mandap in the front of the Mahachaitya at Kantakosala, the ancient name of Ghantasala. The village today is littered with the fragments of limestone pillars with the medallions, which could be dated to 2nd, 3rd century Common Era based on their artistic style. The antiquities yielded from nearby areas include a Buddha image of the early Amravati style, a lion and inscribed pillars of Ikshwaku time. One of these pillars records the donation of Bodhisri for mandap, Gandhakuti, railing and toran. Some other such pillars are scattered in other nearby areas too. Alexander Ree excavated the mound where remains of Mahachaitya were found, and it had similar style of wheel-shaped pattern with 2 concentric circles. The various cells formed in between these circles are filled with earth. A pradakshina path built of bricks is there around the Medhi for circumambulation rituals. The provision for Ayaka platforms and Ayaka pillars over them was also there. The diameter of the Anda is considered to have been around 111 feet, whereas the path around it measured 4 feet 6 inches. The stone slabs with decorative relief panels may once have adorned the whole stupa, which can be attested by the finding of one such panel depicting Maravijay by Alexander Ree. Fragments of a coping stone have been found, based on which we can assume that a beautiful railing or Vedika was provided around the Mahachaitya to mark the distinction of a sacred space. 2 pots were found from within the central part of the stupa. The finding of a bone remains in this stupa makes it a Sharik stupa like the one at Bhattiprolu. This monument is protected by Archaeological Survey of India. How to reach Bhattiprolu? It is located at a distance of 21 kilometers from the nearest city Machilipattanam and 60 kilometers from Vijayawada. The nearest railway stations are Guntur and Bhattiprolu, which are 21 kilometers and 18 kilometers away respectively from Ghantasala.